Common monomial factoring, or CMF. Our first step to factor polynomials is to look for common factors among the terms. If there is, factor it out. So what we're doing in first step is actually what we call the common monomial factoring, or CMF. The goal in here is to really factor out the GCF of the different terms in a polynomial. So perhaps before we really utilize common monomial factoring, we try to recall first how to find the GCF given two numbers and afterwards two terms. Our example one here says that we are asked to find the GCF of 14 and 20. So if you try to recall, this is your grade 6 lesson. So to find out the GCF of 14 and 28, first we get the prime factorization of 14 and 28. Then afterwards, we just take their common prime factors. Then, so for that, we have 14, in which the prime factors are 7 and 2, because 7 times 2 is 14. And then afterwards, we have 28, in which the prime factorizations, or the prime factors, are 7 times 2 times 2. As I've mentioned, we have to look for the prime factors. When we say prime, these are numbers that can be divided only by itself and 1. So notice that 7 is just 7 divided by 7 or 7 divided by 1. Same with 2, 2 divided by 2 or 2 divided by 1. So these are prime factors. So now, as I was saying, after you find the prime factorization of each numbers, you just have to take their common prime factors. That would be 7 and 2. Then, if you recall, you just bring it down, and then afterwards, you find the product, 7 times 2, so the answer is 14. So that means the GCF here is 14. Okay. We can use the same procedure to get the greatest common factor, or the GCF, of algebraic expressions. So for example 2, we are asked here to find the GCF of x cubed and x to the power of 5. So similar process. For x cubed, you can actually expand it by multiplying x by itself 3 times. While x to the power of 5, it means that x is multiplied by itself 5 times. You take the common factors, or the common factors. It's 1x, then another x, then another x as well. Then we just bring that down. There are 3 x's, and we multiply them. So x times x times x. Okay, common mistake. You will usually say this is 3x. So take note, the answer is not 3x, because at the first place, you're not adding. Okay? You're multiplying, that means that's x cubed. Meaning x is multiplied by itself 3 times. So the GCF here is x cubed. Now, we have here an expression. So what if the instruction now is to find the GCF of the terms in each expression? So as an example, we have here example 3a, 4xy plus 8x squared y. So first, you have to identify how many terms do we have here and what makes them separate from each other. So take note, terms are separated by a plus or a minus. Looking at our given, there's a plus in here. In other words, this is our first term. This is our second term. So, similar to what we did a while ago, first term, you get its factor. So, that will be, for the numerical coefficient 4, that's 2 times 2. Then times x times y. While 8x squared, 8x squared y, 8 is, okay, we can think of 4 times 2, but the problem is 4 is not prime. Okay, why is it that 4 is not prime? Because 4 can be divided by itself, which is true. 4 can be divided by 1, which is true, because it will give you a whole number. But 4 can be divided by 2. So as we define prime numbers, can only be divisible by, can be divided only by itself and 1. But here we can divide it in 2. So that means 4 is not yet our prime factor in here for 8. So you have to break it down, so that will be 2 times 2 times 2 times x times y. Okay? And then afterwards, you find the common. Okay? Our common here are what? 2, another 2, then 1 pair of x, then 1 pair of y. So you just bring that down. It's 2 times 2, then times x times y. Then you multiply it. 2 times 2 is 4. Then x times y, you can combine them. So just copy it. 4xy. So the GCF of our two terms here in this expression is 4xy. Now let's have example B. So we have here 6x to the power 4y squared minus 9x squared y cubed minus 12x cubed y squared. So first, identify how many terms do we have in the given to find the GCF. So there are 3 terms separated by the minus. Again, terms are separated by either plus or a minus. So this is our first term, this is our second term, and this is our third term. So what we will do now is to find the factor, right? Factorization. Let's start with 6x to the power 4 y squared. So 6 is 3 times 2. X to the power 4 is x times x times x times x. The y squared is y times 1. The second term is 9x squared y cubed. So our 9 here is 3 times 3. X squared here is x times x. Y cubed means you're multiplying y by itself 3 times. Third term is 12x cubed y squared. So 12, you can think 12 as 4 times 3, but 4 is not prime. So you can still break that down as 2 times 2. That means that's 2 times 2 times 3. So that you will get 12. Then x cubed is there are 3 x's. And then y squared means there are 2y's multiplied by itself. Okay, now you figure out the commonality between the three. So again, it must be the three terms, not just the two terms. Okay, it must be in all three terms when you're asked to find the GCF. Let me highlight. Okay, first, you will notice that one of them has the 3. Okay, so that's 1. And second is that you will notice, okay, why is it that I did not identify 2 as a common factor? Because notice that the second one doesn't have a 2. So you cannot say that 2 is a common factor. Next, there, one of them has 1x. You can select another x again. There are no more x's which is common to all three. That's it only. Afterwards, you'll notice that one of them has a y. So that's 1y, 1y, and 1y in here. So now, you cannot select another y because in the first place, if you choose this y in here in our first term, there's no other y. We still have. So that means this one y, and another y in here, and another y in here. Let me use another color of pen to really highlight. Okay. The factors. Okay. So we have 1, 3. Okay. Then one set of x, one set of x, one set of y, and another set of y in here. Okay. Afterwards, you just bring that down. So that would be 1, 3 times x times x times y times 1. Okay. In other words, the GCF here is 3x squared y squared. Now, we're now good with finding the GCF of a polynomial. So let's now complete the process on how we can accomplish the first step, following the method common monomial factoring or CMF. So there are 3 sub-steps. So first, you have to find the GCF of the terms in a polynomial. B is to divide the polynomial by the GCF. And C, write the expressions obtained in A and B as a product. To better understand the steps here under common monomial factoring, let's have an example. We are asked to factor 2x plus 4. So again, when we say factor, we're looking for 2 or more polynomials, which we find its product, we will go back to the given. So looking for several polynomials. After multiplying them, it will go back to 2x plus 4. That's the goal. So now, the given is 2x plus 1. As mentioned in here, first step is about looking for common factors among the terms by using common monomial factoring. So as sub-step A, find the GCF of the terms in a polynomial. So first, there's a plus in here. This is the first term, second term. So 2x is simply 2 times x. 4 is times 2. Common factor would be 2. So we just bring down the 2. So that means the GCF here is just 2. So we're done with step A. We now proceed to step B. Divide the polynomial by the GCF. So that means we're about to divide 2x plus 4, the given, by the GCF 2. So based from your grade 7 lesson, when you divide a polynomial with a monomial, because the GCF is just a monomial, wala ka nakikita plus or minus, so you're about to divide 2x with 2 plus 4 divided by 2 as well. So 2x divided by 2 will be cancelled out. So x na lang yung matitira. Plus 4 divided by 2 is 2. So we're done with B. We're now down to our last step. Write the expressions obtained in A and B as a product. So take note, the operation is a product. In A, we have the GCF2 product. So you don't place any operations between the two. But you need to make sure that B is in a separate parenthesis. So 2 times the quantity of our B is x plus 2. There you go. This is the answer. There you go. So the factor is just 2 times the quantity of x plus 2. If you want to be sure that your answer is correct, you can always multiply them as if the given is 2 times the quantity of x plus 2. If you distribute the 2 to the x, that's 2x. Then if you distribute the 2 to the second term inside the parentheses, 2 times 2 is 4. It will go back to 2x plus 4. Now let's have example 5. So in example 5, we're asked to factor 4x squared y minus 20x to the power 4y squared plus 16x cubed y cubed. So let's follow the process on how we can do the first step, following the specific sub-steps under CMF. The first step is to make sure that you know the GCF, the terms in a polynomial. There are 3 terms in here: first term, second term, and the third term, separated by the minus and the plus. For 4x squared y, the factors would be 2 times 2. X squared is x times x, and times y. Second term is 20x to the power 4, y squared. 20 is, you can think of it as 2 times 10. Okay, I'll put it here, 2 times 10. But 10 is not a prime number because you can still divide 5 with it, not just 10 and 1. So you can still break down 10 as 5 times 2. So there you go. That's the prime factorization of 20. So that's 2 times 2 times 5. Then x to the power 4 is x times x times x times x. Y squared is times y times y. Lastly, 16x cubed, y cubed. Okay, the prime factorization of 16, you can think of it as 4 times 4. However, 4 is not a prime number because you can still think of it as 2 times 2. Same with the other 4, 2 times 2. So meaning 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, that's 16. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Afterwards, x cubed is x times x times x. And y cubed is y times y times y. And we find the common factors. That would be 2, another 2. And it must be in the 3 terms. Another x, another x. Then lastly, one set of y. that would be 2 times 2 times x times x times y, which will give us GCF of 4x squared y. We're done with step 1. Step sub 8. Sorry. So we now proceed to B, divide the polynomial by GCF. So that their color, it's green. So the GCF is 4x squared y, so that means we just have to divide each term by 4x squared y. Simple as that. So it would look like 4x squared y divided by 4x squared y, then minus, the second term is 20x to the power of 4 y squared, divided by the GCF, 4x squared y, plus the third term, 16x cubed y cubed all over 4x squared y. Okay, first term, when we divide it, 4 will be cancelled out, x squared will be divided as well, y will be divided as well, or cancelled out. So it doesn't mean that everything is cancelled out and that would be 0. That means that what will be left is just a 1. So please take note of that. That's a common mistake or error of students. If everything is cancelled out again, that means the ones left is only 1. And afterwards, we have minus. Okay, 20 divided by 4 is 5. X to the power 4 divided by x squared. So if you remember this in your laws of exponent in grade 7, so that means once in the denominator, everything will be cancelled out. Everything will be cancelled out because there's more x's in the numerator. Because there are 4 x's there in the numerator, there are only 2 x's in the denominator. So, kung may 4 na x sa numerator, dalawang x sa baba. So, 2 x's will be cancelled out. So, yun yung matitira kung nasa numerator. At yung matitira nilang is dalawang x squared. Kasi yung other 2, na-cancel out na siya. Then, the y squared divided by y, dalawang y ang nasa numerator, isang y sa denominator. So, maka-cancel out na nasa denominator, may matitirang isang y sa numerator. Okay, and lastly, the last term, 16 divided by 4, it's 4. X cubed divided by x squared. So, may tatlong x sa numerator, dalawang x sa denominator. Maka-cancel yung x sa denominator, may natitirang isang x sa numerator. Y cubed divided by y, meaning tatlong y sa numerator, may isang y sa denominator. So, maka-cancel out yung tigi isang y, matitira na lang dalawang y sa numerator. That would mean in our third term, 4x y squared. So, we're done with step B. So lastly, in step C, that's where we write the factored form already of our given polynomial. So first, we write our GCF for x squared y. Then, parenthesis, we just put inside the result in B, which is 1 minus 5x squared y plus 4x y squared. So this is now our answer. Okay, let's proceed to example 6. Factor 12x squared minus 6y. So following the same process, first step is always to look for common factors among the terms, using common monomial factoring or CMF. In A, find the GCF first. There are 2 terms. This is the first term, second term, separated by the minus 12x squared is, okay, you can think of 6 times 2. but 6 is not prime. 6 must be 3 times 2. So 3 times 2 times 2, that's 12. Then x squared is just x times x. Second term is 6y squared. 6 is 3 times 2. Y squared is y times y. Then, if you look at it, the only commonality in here is 3 and 2. May x sa first term, wala namang x sa second term. May y sa second term, wala namang y sa first term. So, ibig sabihin, ito lang yung ating GCF, 3 and 2. So, 3 times 2, you'll get 6. That's the GCF. So, we're done with A. We now proceed with B. So, if you already figure out the GCF, we just have to divide the terms in the given with the GCF. So, first term, 12x squared, then divide it by the GCF 6. Minus, because the given is minus, 6y squared, second term, divided by the GCF again, 6. So, 12 divided by 6 is just 2. Then, yung x squared, wala naman sa GCF natin. So, wala mababago. So, x squared pa rin siya. Minus, 6 divided by 6 is just 1. So, ibig sabihin makakancel out yan. 1 na lang siya. Then, y squared, walang makakancel out. So, you just have to copy it. But you don't have to write 1. Because it's understandable that when you don't see any numerical coefficient beside it, the assumption is that the numerical coefficient is 1. So, we're done with B. We're now down to C. So, you just have to multiply the result in A and B. So, that would be GCF is 6 times the quantity of 2x squared minus y squared. So, this is now the factored form using CMF. Okay. Let's have example 7. Nasa example. Factor 15b minus 3b squared plus 9ab. Following first step under CMF, we have A, find the GCF, first term, second term, third term. First term is 15b. That would mean 5 times 3 times b. 3b squared is 3 times b times b. 9ab means 3 times 3 times a times b. Then find the commonality. That would be 3 and another b. So that would be 3 times b equals 3b. So that's the GCF. Now we proceed to B. Divide the polynomial by the GCF. Okay, nawawala po yung time natin. Ayan, nagpakita lang siya. So, we just divide 15b with the GCF 3b minus 3b squared divided by 3b plus 9ab divided by 3b. So, 15 divided by 3 is 5. Yung b natin, makakancel out siya. May isang b sa numerator, may isang b sa denominator. That means, that would just be 1. Minus 3 divided by 3 is just 1. May dalawang b sa numerator, isang b sa denominator. So yun, nasa denominator, makakancel out lahat. Isang b na lang ang natira. And then, 9 divided by 3 is 3. Then a, walang a naman sa denominator. So retain pa rin si a sa numerator. And b divided by b is just 1. So makakancel out lahat ng b sa third term. So 3a. As a final answer, we just have to multiply the GCF 3b times the quantity of 5 minus b plus 3a. The result is in step B. That's our answer, the factored form using CMF. Okay, so we're now good with step 1. So we're now ready to move forward to step 2. So for step 2, watch the next video.